Hi, I'm Avalon Starlight, and you are listening to the Rebel Unicorns podcast. This season, I'm super stoked because we are talking about something very near and dear to my heart, chakras, and how they can completely transform your life and your business. Listen each week as I share my own chakra experiences, as well as introducing you to incredible guests with their own chakra stories. Are you ready? Let's get our Rebel on. Welcome, everybody. I am so excited to be recording the first episode of this season of the Rebel Unicorns podcast because it is about something that is really significant and important to me, which is your chakras. Now, if you are new to chakras and you have no idea what you're getting into listening to this podcast, I'm going to give you a quick rundown about which each one is in this episode, a little bit of backstory, and then we're going to dive deep for the rest of the season, floor by floor, into what each chakra is responsible for, how do you know if it's in alignment, and I'm going to be sharing a special guest with you who had done this work in their chakra of that week and had significant transformations through it. So it's going to be a season loaded full of awesome, energetic information. And I'm excited because doing the work in the chakras completely changed my life and my business. You see, there are 7 chakras in the body. They run from the base of your spine at your tailbone, which is your root. Your pubis bone is your sacral. Your navel is your solar plexus. Your heart chakra is right at your heart, your sternum. You have your throat chakra at your throat. You have your third eye in your forehead and the crown chakra at the top of your head. And when I started to work with chakras, I had no idea about any of this information. You see, in 2017, I had signed up to write my first book, My Kid is Driving Me Crazy, a mom's survival guide for living with a child with mental illness. And I vividly remember writing this book and feeling a sensation in my tailbone and in my throat. And it felt a bit like a popping sound or a fizzing sound. And I thought that was really strange, right? I had begun doing energy work in 2016. I had begun to meditate. I started to hear voices in my meditation. And when I knew those voices were true, I started to hear the voices outside of meditation. So for about a year and a half, I was in this conversation with Spirit, and Spirit was asking me to, basically create some things, become a better person. They would tell me to do something, and I was like, really? And they would say yes, and I would do it. So I created a 52-week coloring agenda and an intention card oracle deck. And on one day, they told me to look up Hay House. And so I did. I looked up Hay House, which led me to signing up with the author incubator and writing my first book. And in the writing of that book and having these sensations through the month of February, in March of 2017, I was in my bathroom, blow drying my hair. And for me, Spirit loves to talk to me while I'm blow drying my hair. I think it's because I'm not really focused on anything and I'm wide open to hear the message. And on this day, Spirit dropped in these exact words. You can read chakras. And I was like, whoa, pardon? And Spirit was like, you can read chakras. So I finished blow drying my hair and I went into the hallway and I was just so confused. I was like, Spirit, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about chakras. How can I start reading them? I don't know the colors. I don't know the symbols. I mean, I'd heard of them in the last year and a half through my awakening experience, but I didn't actually have any information. But Spirit was adamant. Spirit was like, you can read chakras and we're going to guide you. And here's kind of a big deal moment because, how many times do we get Spirit guidance and we're like, whoa, that's too much, or I can't do that, or, something happens and we talk ourselves out of it. On this day, I decided to go all in. I went to my computer, I opened up my laptop, and I wrote in my Facebook, hey everyone, apparently I can read chakras. Would anybody be open to letting me practice on them? And I went out. And I when you write those posts or you do something, you feel super vulnerable and you don't want to look at your Facebook or, anything that you have, I don't want to know that people would see this. But eventually I did look, and 4 brave souls raised their hands and said yes to having their chakras read. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to shit my pants. I really, really did, because I literally had to go full trust and surrender and allow myself to completely give myself over to spirit and trust that whatever would come through for these particular readings would be exactly what they were meant to be and be significant for the people who had raised their hands. So I did. I did these 4 readings. They were, oh my God, you guys, they were so tremendous and exceptional and opened me wide to what is possible, because after those 4 people said yes and I jumped into those 4 energy bodies, everything changed for me. Everything changed for me. Chakras became the life force of my business. To this day, I still have a program called the Chakra Business Academy, which supports you in building a business from the inside out, because I quickly learned by going into the human body and reading all of these energy floors was that there were significant patterns that would occur in each of the 7 floors. And I started to map out, what each chakra meant. And, what were we housing there? How did resistance show up in each chakra? What could we do in order to get back into alignment? And I started to see, that within each of us, we have the same capacity for greatness based off of, the energy that we're holding. But what happens in our life is that from the time we're born, we begin to absorb other people's thoughts, other people's emotions. We listen to what they're telling us. And so we create belief systems based on what our parents believed in. We create belief systems based on what we witness and what our teachers tell us and our ex-partners. And we begin to hoard energy in the 7 floors of the body. I'm breaking it up into floors because it's an easier way for me to be able to speak about them and allow you to be able to imagine kind of like you're a high-rise building and you have the capacity to go visit each of these floors. Because I don't talk about chakras in a way that is spiritual. For me, they are spiritual, but they're here to support us in really aligning ourselves to our soul's calling, our mission, our stardust, if you will. Because I truly believe we come from the stars and we're born with a speck of stardust in our hearts. And when we get steered off path of our life, it's this stardust that begins to vibrate within us that says, hey, it's time for you to get into alignment. It's time for you to come back and understand that you are connected to something greater and that you chose this human body to experience the world through the service of your stardust, to be in alignment with this energy body, to be able to connect yourself to God and Goddess and be able to shine your stardust out of your heart like a Care Bear does a Care Bear stare. And that's my belief. This is how I go through life and business. And so when I'm talking to you about the energy funnel and I'm talking to you about chakras, I'm going to be talking to them as if you are going down to each floor of this building, your body, and being able to discover that you have, in fact, been packing boxes and hoarding energy in these 7 floors of your body if you've never done any energy work. And I say this with love because we didn't know any better. Nobody taught us how important it is to keep our energy bodies clean and clear. Because if we're carrying other people's beliefs, we're carrying events and experiences that we haven't let go of, what happens in your day-to-day life, whether you're working with clients, whether you're on clarity calls, sales calls, in communication with your partner in your relationship and your kids, oftentimes what we're experiencing in the moments that we are in these conversations doesn't have anything to do with the present moment and has everything to do with something that we're holding on to from our past in one of these 7 floors, preventing us from being able to be fully present. It's like you're living in the present moment, but you're experiencing it as a trauma from your past and in the present moment, which oftentimes you'll say to yourself, I don't know why this feels like such a big deal. Because it shouldn't be a big deal, but it surely feels like it is. And that's because you're reliving it from a previous experience in your life, and it's significant and it's trying to get your attention. So I define something, and this is what this whole season is about, as the energy funnel. Why am I calling it the energy funnel? Because, when we think about business and we think about funnels, we can think about email funnels. We can think about Facebook ad funnels. It makes sense for us to see that there is a starting point and there's these steps that you take and you get to the outcome. Well, that's the same kind of idea that's happening in your internal body. We get direct downloads from source, and they can come in forms, and they can come in ways, they can come in visuals, they can come in sounds, but we gather information from source. And I love source. I'm going to be using source. You can call it God. You can call this great divine being the creator. I might call God because, man, I could go on and on about this podcast, how I didn't believe in God. And now I know that God exists fully and completely because we have masculine and feminine. And so God and goddess have to be together to create this beautiful world we live in. But source is dropping information towards us. And if you think about source as having this bird's eye view overlooking everything, because what you're looking at while you're listening to this podcast is simply what your eyes see directly in front of you. You see the wall, or you're looking out a window and you see the distance that is available to you through your eyes. But what we don't realize is that there is so much available to us beyond what we see with our senses. And so source, being as magnificent as they are, can be up in the cosmos looking down and has the view that we can't see. So ultimately, when we're getting these downloads from source, it's like your business partner, right? You decide you want to create something in your life, in your business. You start to take action on it. Source is the business partner. If you're not taking any action, if you're not moving, then source isn't moving with you. So this is the fun part. We can't be in non-motion and have source there guiding us. So source is looking down, offering you information. Now, the piece that's most important is that ultimately we want to have an aligned energy body so that these incredible nuggets of information that source is dropping down on us like it's hot are coming in through the crown, traveling through the third eye, your throat chakra, your heart, solar plexus, sacral, down to the root chakra, where like a mirror, this divine download reflects back up through your energy body into the sky, like a beacon, like a bat signal that is magnetic and attracts your soul clients to you. That's the most important part of doing the energy funnel, because it doesn't matter what we're focusing on the outside. If our internal body isn't receiving that information, if we're not able to, trust that what we're receiving is for us, speak it into existence, into the world, allow ourselves to feel like we can place ourselves safely out and not get hurt, that we know we're deserving and worthy, that, we can surrender and give up control to the divine, and we don't have to be so rigid in the way we think and the way we work. And we trust who we are and the people that we are here to serve, and confidently stand up in the mission and the message that we were born with. Oh, we become unstoppable, right? But we have been taught a whole different set of rules that come from outside of us, rules that were created in a room with a bunch of men, white men, doing their thing. And these became the governing rules of our existence. And so we are here in the Rebel Unicorns world to break down the status quo, to realize that the ways in which the initial structures were created are crumbling and they're no longer serving us. And the fastest way that we can get to a place of receiving, an abundance of wealth, an abundance of relationship, an abundance of experiences that feel expansive and, full-bodied and are unlike anything we've been told before, is the first step is understanding is that everything that we have been taught is going to be unlearned. We're going to unlearn it in the next 8 weeks together in the Rebel Unicorns Energy Funnel series. Because what we're talking about is energy, which we weren't taught about. We're learning about chakras, which, I don't remember learning about that in school. We're learning about stillness, about silence, about taking the authority away from external sources and placing it within ourselves, simply by doing the work on each floor of our energy body to align ourselves with our service, why we chose this human body in the first place. So like I said, this is a big, juicy, delicious first episode with a whole bunch of information, some introduction. We are going to get into the meat of each of the floors individually coming up. Tune in to the next episode where we dive into the root chakra, which is the foundation of your energy body. It's like literally the foundation. When we don't have a strong foundation, nothing can be built upon it and be stable. And so tune in because you're going to want to hear, because chances are, and I've been in and out of energy bodies for over 4 years, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of humans I've been in their energy bodies. And I can tell you, the root chakra, it's got a lot to say. And I'm excited to share with you how you will know if your root chakra is out of alignment and what you can do to bring it into a space to be stable in the foundation for your energy body, for your message, for your clients, for your family, for your life. So tune in to the next episode as we sink further and further into the energy funnel and how it's going to completely transform your life and your business. Wow, that episode was mind-blowing. I hope you had as many ahas listening to it as I had recording it. I would love to see the Rebel Unicorns podcast spread far and wide across the globe, across the universe. So if you want to share it on your social media with something that you found impactful, leave a review, send it to a friend. It would be so deeply appreciated. Also, a little side note, I did recently change my name. I downloaded 1.5 years ago that my name was Avalon Starlight. It was previously my birth name was Tamara Arnold. And if you're interested in learning what your Rebel Unicorn house is, oh yeah, there's a quiz for that. Think Harry Potter, except you're sorted into how you are impacting the world with your stardust and what energy you're here to shift and change. You can find out your Rebel Unicorn house at www.tamaraarnold.ca/quiz. Let me know, tag me in social media, send the quiz out, and join the Rebel Unicorns Facebook group to be in a community of like-minded spiritual entrepreneurs who understand that when you shift your energy, you transform your business.